Hello and welcome everyone, Stormy Sensei here. Today we'll be playing Pokemon Sword. You've got quite a task in front of us. In 2 weeks, the Crown Tundra DLC releases. And we're not ready for it yet. We're still in the process of building our Isle of Armor DLC team, and we haven't finished, which is a problem. It's been a while since I've done competitive Pokemon team building. So what I'll do is I'll actually explain things as I'm doing it, which back in the day I didn't really do. I mean, I used to do it at the very beginning, but I've stopped doing it because I've done it so often. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get a good nature. Impish nature means that they have more defense than usual and less special attack than usual. So that red in the defense means that you get a 10% increase to your base stat points, and the blue in the special attack means you have a minus 10% in that base stat point. And so this Coalossal has the wrong nature for that. So we're going to try to transfer. We're going to try to get a Pokemon that has these stats, best, but this nature. In order to do that, I'm going to use an Everstone, which makes sure that this Pokemon passes down the nature to the next offspring, and give this Pokemon a Destiny Knot, which doesn't really help me that much because this Pokemon is so bad, but it will make sure that 5 of the 6 chosen IVs come from among the 12 individual values from the parents. Individual values are just like your Pokemon's potential. You want best most of the time, and occasionally you can make do with fantastic, or sometimes it's competitively viable to go with no good even. But it really just depends on what you're going for. Like if you wanted a really slow Pokemon so that you could play with them in Trick Room, then you would go with no good speed. Or if you had a special attacker and you didn't want to take damage from foul play, you might want to do no good and attack. That's all like really advanced stuff though, and it actually takes a really long time to do. So I just make do with 6 IV, 5 IV. So the first step is to get a Roly-Coly with the right nature. And let me look at my power set here. Stone Edge, Fire Punch, Body Press, Earthquake. I need to make sure that none of these are actually egg moves, because then I actually have extra steps that I need to take. So, Fire Punch is a TM. Earthquake is a TR. Yeah, TR only. Body Press is a TR, I know. And then, what was the last one? Some other attack. Stone Edge. Wow. Stone Edge is TR as well. Okay. So nothing important here, so we're actually done with this nursery. That was easy. What do you do with the team you've built? Are you active in Pokemon tournaments? Right before the pandemic hit, I was starting to think about getting involved with local Pokemon tournaments. But also mostly just to battle you guys, the viewers. This is the first game in which I've decided to build competitive teams. because usually future, I think that there is a chance that I will actually have tournament series on this channel. Like, I'm kind of working in the background to like have, you know, monthly or maybe weekly tournament events for Smash. And then like, if I were to have weeklies for Smash, then I would choose one of those weeks and instead make it Pokemon instead. Alright, Steam Engine, 2 IVs, correct nature. So that's pretty good. 2 IVs is better than 0 and better than 1, so that's good. Because it's just too much to actually, every single week, have a multiple hour event in addition to me actually wanting to play the game myself. I won first place in Lightning's Gym Challenge. Alright, so now we're at the second part of all of this. We now have the roly-coly with the proper nature, and within the within this box we actually have a Ditto with the Destiny Knot. So as I mentioned before, the Destiny Knot lets you keep some of the stats from the parents. It's a 6 IV Ditto, and this is a 2 IV roly-coly. So we're out of this. You know, we could get super unlucky. They could choose 5. They could choose like HP, attack, special defense, and speed from this Pokemon, and then like something from the other Pokemon, and then the 6th one is random. So we could end up with a 1 IV Pokemon, but we could end up with a 6 IV Pokemon immediately from here. But here's hoping that we get something good. Oh yeah, and we need to go to a box that we don't mind filling up with trash. Because we're gonna possibly breed, like, we could be breeding here for like another hour if we get unlucky. Alright, our first egg. Let's take a look at it. Did we get lucky? Steam Engine 4 IV. That was really good, actually. We're going to immediately swap out our 2 IV roly-coly with this one. And the reason for that is with the 2 IV roly-coly, the minimum number of max IVs we'll have is 1. And the max is like 6, obviously. But you're going to average out probably like 3 or 4. With a 4 IV Pokemon, you're like way better off, because if I have a 6 IV Ditto in the box, then like that means that I'm guaranteed to get at least a 4 IV every single time Pokemon. And if we're lucky, and we should get lucky very soon, we'll get a 5 IV Pokemon. And then you just keep on churning out 5 IV Pokemon until you end up with a 6 IV. Well, you don't have to have a 6 IV. Like, if I were to get Special Attack as my minus, then, like, if I were to get no good Special Attack, that'd be fine. And even Speed wouldn't be that bad, because we have Steam Engine. We're about to multiply our Speed times 4, which will allow us to outspeed everything anyway. So, not too worried about the Speed stat too much. But what's most important is that HP, attack, defense, and special defense are all at their max. Because we're going to be using an Assault Vest, which increases our special attack, or I mean our special defense by 50%. So if you had 50 special defense, then it would raise it to 75. But if you had, so that's an increase of 25. But if you have 100, then it raises up to 150, which is an increase of 50. So the more you have in your regular special defense, the more the Assault Vest actually helps. Sometimes I don't do any investment at all in special defense, and then I just let the assault vest just multiply it naturally, and then put all my points into defense. But sometimes it's better to like actually invest all the way into special defense, and then just get even more with your with the assault vest. So yeah, that's all that I'm explaining things as I go along. Oh, I should not keep that around. I have all these thick fat Snorlaxes, and then the one that ended up being good ended up being immunity. We're gonna, finally use an ability capsule. I don't really like using ability capsules. I like to usually just keep on breeding until I get the right nature and ability. But that's okay. I don't mind. Alright, so now we have a 4 IV roly-coly in the daycare. It's got the Everstone. Alright, so that's good. So we'll swap them out when we get a 5 IV, or when we get, well, we'll either swap them out when we get 5 IV. It could be the case that that 5 IV that we get ends up being, like, good enough, and we don't bother wasting more time, because we have a lot of time to spend here. Or we could just get a 6 IV, and then be like, alright, that's good enough. Hey there, Beans. Ooh, excellent. We're done. Steam engine, proper nature. Speed's not that great, but that's okay. On to the next part, Eevee training. I have no way of getting Venusaur? Yeah, you do. You can trade with me. And you can trade with me for Conkeldurr as well. I know you have them online. We play Smash together. I have so many. Like, look, here's the Bulbasaur right here. You can just get that from the Isle of Armor DLC, but I also have, like, other Bulbasaur as well. Look, I have practically a whole box of them. The beautiful thing about Pokemon is that it's difficult for one person to do anything in the game, but because of the power of trading, like, it's so easy for a group of people to do, like, a lot of stuff. Like, I have all these Pokemon that I'm never going to use any of these Pokemon, ever. Because, like, I already have I have, like, a better version of all of these. I have one that I built. So I don't need any others. And, it's true for me. So, like, you could get all these Pokemon you wanted from me. But you could also go to pretty much any streamer and just, like, ask them. Or not, you don't ask them because they're probably busy doing whatever they're doing. I mean, you could ask them and then, they'll say, yeah, sure, or no, I'm busy doing this other thing. But, like, more than likely, the type of people that watch Pokemon streams are the type of people that will gladly trade you. Where was I? Oh, yeah, so, yeah, the Pokemon, difficult to get the first one, very easy to get more. Oh, yeah, that's what I started with. Okay. So, make sure that none of these have an item, because I don't want to throw away Everstones and Destiny Knots. So that's all done. Next step is Eevee training. So now's the next part. Alright, so I'm gonna have to share my screen for this next part, probably. There's that scene. Alright. So you should be able to hear me. Yep, you're able to hear me and you're able to see my Firefox here. A disabled performance one, so so I see what you see. All right, excellent, perfect. So this is the build that we're working towards. Max HP, 84 defense, 172 special defense. So if you check out, let me pull up an example here. Oh, darn it. You didn't see any of that, actually, because I forgot to switch back. Alright, let's try that again. Alright, so I have these two Gengars, 70 and 75. And you look at their stats, and this weaker Gengar has 180 speed and 229 HP. This stronger, quote-unquote, Gengar has 198 HP, but 260 speed. And if you look at their actual stat distribution, it comes down to where I put my points. So this Gengar put all into speed, and also a speed nature, and this Gengar went into HP and special attack with a special attack nature. Whoops, didn't want to exit out of that. And so you can see that, you know, even two similar Pokemon with a lot of other similarities end up being very different. Like 80 additional points of speed is a lot. It's like a whole lot of speed difference. But turns out 30 extra HP is actually not very much of a difference. Which is why I was saying that this Gengar, the one that I built for HP and special attack, is not a good idea. Don't do it. Gengar is a glass cannon, and I thought that I could overcome his weakness by just building him differently, so that he could take a hit and then attack twice, because Gengar is naturally speedy, so I was like, alright, well I won't invest in speed, he's naturally speedy, he'll probably outspeed most things anyway, and then he'll be able to attack twice instead of just once. But what ends up happening is most people have a speedy Pokemon on their lead, and so they use their speedy Pokemon to attack Gengar, and Gengar is super frail, so he usually dies, and then he doesn't attack twice anyway. So it's just a waste of a slot. Fastest way to level up Pokemon? The fastest way to level up Pokemon... Well, that's a complicated question, because, like I said, the point distribution that you put is really important. So you don't necessarily want to just fight the strongest Pokemon that you can find, because because those Pokemon will give you stat points, and you want to build your Pokemon specifically. So you want to find a Pokemon that gives you the stat points that you want, so that you can actually end up with the proper stats at the end of the game. Also, levels don't really matter, because when you play on ranked, every Pokemon gets standardized or normalized to level 50. So even if you go in with a level 6 Pokemon and you're in ranked mode, you're going to be playing at level 50 as though you leveled yourself up to level 50. Even if you get all the way to level 100, you're going to be fighting as though you're level 50. So the only thing that really matters is your moveset and your stat point allocation when it comes to competitive Pokemon. Levels don't really matter. Now, if you're not talking about ranked, then the fastest way to level up is just to go to the Elite Four. Put your Pokemon in the back, because, you know, automatic EXP share is on, and then just like get a whole bunch of strong Pokemon on your team, and then just rip through the Elite Four at the champion, because they're the highest level Pokemon that you're going to fight. That was actually this one here. They're the highest level Pokemon. You have a chance of fighting against Zacian or Zamazenta, depending on your box, which has a lot of HP. You know, it's pretty fast that way. Another good way of doing it, but is limited by how much you grind for it, is using EXP candy. Where is my EXP candy? Did I use it all up? Oh, here it is. So here's my EXP candy that you get from raid battles as a reward for winning. So I could probably level up this Roly-Coly to level 100 right now. Yeah, if I used 106, I would go to level 100. But I don't want to do that right now. So that's actually the fastest way. But, you know, using up 106 candies is a lot. Like, you only have a limited amount of those before you have to go back into raid battles. Alright, now back to my talking about the stat distribution. Because in addition to actually doing the competitive building, I'm going to use this as like my tutorial for how to build competitively. So this is PokemonShowdown.com. I don't actually use it to play because I like to use the actual game for this. But you can basically build out a Pokemon within this and then use it as a reference for when you're actually building it in the game. So we're going to have max HP by the time we're done. We already have the plus defense nature and the minus special attack nature. 84 defense and 172 special defense. So let me think here. 172 is not divisible by 8. No, it is not. Is it divisible by 9? No, it is not. What about 84? 84 is not divisible by 8 or 9, but it's pretty close. It's 81 is 9 times 9, and then I would need 3 more for the defense. Okay, so I already have a plan for how we're going to get these stat points. Back to the game. Alright, so am I at the right place for this? No. Some pretty important items that you're going to want to get when you're training your Pokemon. We're going to go to Hammerlock's BP station, which is in this Pokemon Center. And you talk to this person here. These power items are incredible. So typically, every Pokemon in the game has a stat allocation that they give you. So if I were to go out and fight against a Squavit right now, which is the little squirrel Pokemon from the first area, that would give me 1 HP point. 1 HP point is, you know, like, not very much, and I want 252 of those, so it would be really cumbersome for me to actually fight 252 Squavits in order to get max HP. But if I equip the Power Anklet, no, not the Power Anklet, it's the Power Weight. If I were to equip the Power Weight, every Squavit would give me their 1 point, but then I would also get 8 points of HP allocation for every Squavit that I fight. So then that means that every Squavit that I fight is actually giving me 9, which is a lot better. Same with defense, which is what we're going for here. Defense is 84 that we're trying to go for, and I think it's the Power Belt for that. Yeah, so the Power Belt, I would be fighting Roly-Coly. I would defeat 9 of them. 9 times 9, 81. And then I would unequip the Power Belt and defeat 3 more Roly-Coly. That gives me 84. And then the rest would go into Special Defense, which you would get from Nickit. Nickit is what you would use for Special Defense. So I'll just go ahead and do the rest of them. If you want speed, you fight Zigzagoon and Rookity. And for attack, you would fight Choodle. And the reason why I'm choosing these Pokemon in particular is because they're super weak. You can just defeat them in 1 attack. And then you can use the number of attacks you've used so far to count how many more you need to defeat. The only problem is special attack. There is no I mean, Blipbug is what you would use for that, but you can't see it in the overworld. You have to dig through the tall grass and have a random encounter, and it might not be Blipbug. So I really don't like training special attack. So usually what I do for that then is I go into your Pokejobs, and then I put the Pokemon into the special attack seminar. So for every hour that you send your Pokemon here, you get 4 points into that stat. So if I were to put them in for 1 hour, which is the very minimum point, I find a Pokemon that's already maxed out. So I could put them into an hour, which is just a little. That'll give me 4 points. Very short, which is 2 hours. Short, which is 3 hours. Long is 4 hours. Very long is 8 hours. Half a day is obviously 12 hours, and a whole day is 24 hours. And so it's just however many hours times 4. And then on top of that, if you give them the power item that you care about, then they also get the 8. So if you put them in for 1 hour, instead of getting 4 points of stats, they actually get 12 points of stats. New Pokemon was way deeper than a casual viewpoint, but wow. Yeah, so these are the basics of like training competitive Pokemon. But I haven't even gotten into like egg moves, and actually really that's the only thing that I haven't really talked about. Everything, like I've went over natures. I've gone over, well, I didn't really go over it, but I guess here's an example of IVs. So here we have 2 Gengar that are about the same level. Neither of them have any stat points into their attack, but this one has best attack IVs, and this one has very good attack IVs. And you can see that they have almost the same attack stat, even though this one's 5 levels lower. I could probably find a better example than this. Here's another Gengar. Oh, this one's level 79 actually, and has like kind of bad stats actually. So let's put this one next to these other Gengar as well. So 197 at level 79 versus 198, already more HP, even though it didn't put any HP point allocation into. 127 attack, which is surprisingly high. Is this actually trained for attack? It is not. Am I missing something? Oh yeah, these are minus attack natures. Yeah, so that actually shows you exactly how much of a difference it is. 127 versus 105, 109. Where do you find Ditto? Ditto, I get my Ditto from Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, because that's the best way to get them. But if you want Ditto in this game, there are 2 places for it. You can find Ditto... Oops, I want to the Pokedex actually. Or are there 3 places for it? I think there are 3 places for it. I could also just trade you one. Oh wait, what? Oh. It doesn't tell me what the max number is though. Okay. So this is where you find Ditto. At all times of the day, apparently, or all types of weather, I should say. It's kind of rare, though. I don't think I've ever seen it. It also it's kind of small. It's like walking around in the grass. But outside of here, outside of the nursery, if you use wishing pieces in the Pokemon den that's closest to here, if you use wishing pieces at this den, it's a Ditto. If you get a rare, one. So those Dittos are usually better because they're usually like 4 IVs instead of like Usually 0 IVs is what you find out in the wild. You could also just trade for one. So these 2 Dittos I have up for grabs. I need all these Dittos. I have a Ditto of each nature. Not each nature, but like all the good ones. So this one is plus attack minus special attack. This one's plus defense minus special attack. Plus special defense minus special attack and plus speed. And then this is all the same but for attack. And the reason for that is because, you know, the first step is to get the Pokemon you want. The second step is to get whatever egg moves you want onto it, which usually can be its own huge thing. I haven't talked about that yet. Let's see if I have a... Do I have a Pokemon where I need an egg move on it? My Tangrowth needs an egg move, but I think I already have the Tangela that I need, though. Yeah. Let's see what else. No, that's it. I think I'm already done with everything that needs an egg move. Well, I guess I'll just take some time to explain egg moves, because I guess this will be the competitive Pokemon guide stream. So take a look at Snorlax. This Snorlax at level 1 knows Curse. If you look up Snorlax in Cerebi.net, which I'll just go ahead and put in the chat. Oops. That's not how you spell net. So that's Cerebi.net. In fact, I'm just going to show it here. And this is what I use for all of my information. So we're going to look up Snorlax through this Pokemon Dex. And Snorlax does not learn Curse. He learns Recycle, Covet, Stockpile, all this stuff here. There's not going to be a Curse here. Also, there's no TM for Curse either. And there's no TR for Curse either. So how does the Snorlax that I have know Curse? Well, there's this other thing called egg moves. If you take a female of the Pokemon that you want, and you breed it with the male that has the egg move that you want, then the egg that comes out of it will end up being a Pokemon that has that egg move. So what I had to do is I had to find an Avalugg, which is a different Pokemon. Oops, nope, that's not what I wanted to click. I wanted to click on the other button there. Details. So Avalugg learns Curse through level up. So I had to find a male Avalugg, level it up until it knew Curse, get a female Snorlax, which sometimes that's its own pain. Like sometimes you only have the male version, you need to keep on breeding it until you get a female. So you got female and male. This one knows Curse. You breed them, and now you have a Snorlax that knows Curse, which is good. Now, as with everything, it's difficult to get the first one, but once you get the first one, it's very easy to get more of them, because now you have a Snorlax that has Curse, and every Snorlax that you breed with using that Snorlax will also know Curse, because Curse is an egg move. So you can take a Ditto and a Snorlax that knows Curse, breed them together, and now you have a Snorlax that knows Curse. And that's egg moves in general. Simple stuff. Alright, so as I mentioned before, we need to fight Roly-Coly here. We need to defeat 9 of them. Counting is like super important for like all this stuff, because losing stats is actually way harder than gaining stats. Like you need to use certain berries in order to lose stat points. You don't even lose that many of them. You only lose 10 at a time. And given that the max is 252, this one time I accidentally... Alright, so this Pokemon needs to be carrying the Power Belt. And make sure to read. So defense up. We're going to get 84 of these stat points here. And now for the training Pokemon. Coalossal could do it, but he doesn't need to. Coalossal I use for Flame Body. So this ability, Flame Body, cuts the time it takes for you to hatch an egg in half. So I always keep a Flame Body, Coalossal I mean, in my breed box because I always need it. Thievul I use because it has Runaway. So any Pokemon that you want to fight, if it's the wrong type of Pokemon, you just run away from it, no problem. But for training, we're going to use something else here. We're going to use a Pokemon with 100% accurate moves. So these are Roly-Colies here, and I need to defeat 9 of them. Drain Punch has 9, or has 10 power points, so that's what we're going to use. Oh wait, hold up. I need to double check. Alright, so Thievul actually has Pokerus, but he's not contagious. I didn't talk about Pokerus. Pokerus is... So you know how I was talking about how... Squavit gives 1 point of stats, and if you use a power item, then it gives 9 points of stats. Pokerus is a virus that your Pokemon can contract that increases their stat growth. So instead of getting 1 power point, or getting 1 effort point for defeating Squavit, you get 2. And if you have the power weight equipped, instead of having 9, you actually get 18. So if you're in a rush and the stat points that you want to get are like, multiples of 18 or multiples of 2, then you can use Pokerus to cut the number of fights that you need to do in half. So instead of doing, 17, or no, it's 8, instead of doing 18, you only have to do 9. But I don't always like using Pokerus because sometimes it's easier to get multiples of 9 than it is to get multiples of 18. So we're actually not going to do that here either. We don't need Pokerus. Pokerus is actually even more rare than a shiny Pokemon, by the way. You probably don't have it if you haven't been looking for it. But as with everything in Pokemon, you can just trade for it. So once you have a Pokemon that has Pokerus, there's two statuses of it. This is a Pokemon that's recovered from Pokerus, which means they can no longer pass it on to another Pokemon. It doesn't have the spikes at the end. I'm talking about the red dot, by the way, and right next to their typing. So they have this red dot, means that they had Pokerus at some point in time. They no longer have it. But my Aegislash still can infect other Pokemon with it. And the way that you infect other Pokemon with it is you just fight wild Pokemon that either have Pokerus, or you fight wild Pokemon while one of the Pokemon in your party also has Pokerus. Also, when you have the Pokemon in your party that have Pokerus, they spread it to Pokemon that are next to them. So, for example, if I were to put Venusaur like here, then Venusaur would infect Roly-Coly and Dracovish before they infected Conkeldurr. That's kind of unimportant, but it's just how it works. And the last thing that I have to say is, if you have a Pokemon with Pokerus and it has the spikes here, spread it out to a whole box of Pokemon, because once it wears off, you can't get it again. So I have my Pokerus box out here. So all these Pokemon are infected. So if I wanted to trade with somebody that that needed Pokerus, then I can just give them one of these. And then keep the Pokemon in your box when they have Pokerus. Don't take them out unless you're trying to spread them. If you're trying to spread Pokerus, then put them in your party. And if you're trying to actually EV train your Pokemon, keep them in your party. But otherwise, put them in the box, because every second that they're in the party, the timer ticks down, and then they can run out of Pokerus, and then they will no longer be able to spread it. And that's everything I have to say about Pokerus. That would have been pretty important to cover. Alright, so now we're actually going to do the EV training thing. This is actually kind of the most boring part, because it's just literally defeating like 20 or more Pokemon with the same move. But every time you do it, your Pokemon gets stronger. I mean, that one got stronger because of the levels, but as I mentioned before, levels don't matter for competitive, just their stats. Welcome newcomers to the stream. Today was just going to be like a casual, I'm going to make this roller-coaster real quick, but then it turned into like kind of a here's how to build competitive Pokemon stream. From start to finish, I've basically talked about everything that you could possibly want to do when it comes to breeding a Pokemon to be competitively viable. We're down to the last point, which is the EV training, which unfortunately is the boring part. But if you rewind to the stream, I go over some pretty important stuff from time to time. Maybe I'll edit it down so that you don't see as much stuff in the final video that I upload. I only understood like 20% of it. I mean, that's okay. You understood 20% of it, which means that, you know, if you rewatch it for one thing, you'll understand more of it. And then if you actually were to take a Pokemon of your own that you want, and you were to copy my strategy, just like, alright, first do this, next do that, then you would already have a Pokemon, and then you would, you'd have a Pokemon and you would know how to do it. I gotta tell you, the first stream that I did, where I did all this stuff, like I looked up the videos ahead of time and like knew what I needed to do, and then I did it on stream, it took 3 hours. It took 3 hours for me to do all this stuff the first time I did it. But now, if I were actually trying and like not talking to chat and like explaining everything along the way and like cutting over to Therapy and Showdown, I know this because I've actually done it before. I could do this all in like 30 minutes if I wanted to. Doesn't take that long. The only thing is like you could get unlucky with the breeding. That's the thing that takes the longest amount of time. Alright, this is the last roly-coly with the power belt. Let's take a look at our progress so far. Look at that little spike there. So in a Pokemon that's like... let me find a Pokemon that's not trained at all, actually, so I can compare the two. So when you go into your box, and you like find your Pokemon... Regenerator, Slowpoke. I should totally make a Slowbro. So it starts with this little circle here, in this area map. But if you train it, then it kind of shows you... Oh, I should have told you what button to press. You press the X button. So this is the actual number of stats. The purple area is their actual stat number. If you press the X button while you're on the screen, then you see their base stats in the big light yellow area, and then the effort point stats, the stat allocation, is actually in the solid yellow area. For a Pokemon that's almost done being built, it'll look something like, I think I have one of them in here. It'll look like this. So if you have max stats, then the stat area will glow and sparkle like this. So I'm max HP right now, but I haven't completed my, like, all of the stuff that I could possibly have. But when it's complete and you've actually allocated all the stats you possibly can, and the Pokemon can get no stronger from stat point allocate or stat growth, then now it turns into this blue bar. Now, you don't have to max out 2 stats like that. You could kind of like spread them all around. Let me find a Pokemon that I did that with. I guess I don't have one where like I maxed it out, but like didn't put it all into, didn't max out as single stat. But you get the idea. So now I get rid of the power belt here. I'm at 81 stats right now for defense, and I need 84, so we're going to defeat 3 more of these. Roly-Coly gives 1 defense stat point. I could have been a little more efficient with that, actually. Alright, so I'm going to explain what I should have done. So when we're done with defense, we're going to move on to HP, and we're going to max out our HP stat. 252. We need to divide that by 9. It's, let's see, 18 would be 2, and then 72 is another 8. So we need to do 28. We need to defeat 28 Pokemon in the next area. And then once we're done with those 28 Squavits, we're going to put the rest of the points into special defense. Now, because I unequipped the power belt in order to get those last 3 points for defense, I could have equipped the special defense item, which I think is the power band. And then I could have gotten a free 24 points in special defense, which means that I wouldn't need to defeat an additional 2 or 3 Pokemon when we actually get to special defense. But that's okay. Like, it's just a minor inconvenience. So now we're moving on to Squavit. We need to defeat 28 of these. But we also don't actually have to keep count, because 252 is actually the max that you can go. So even if we were to defeat 30 of them, it'd be fine. You can't, like, waste stat points at this point in the training. By the way, this would be a good time for you to use Pokerus, because 28 battles is kind of a lot. You could cut that down to 14 battles instead, and that's a lot more manageable for, what's it called? So we're going to spread Pokerus right now, momentarily. Let's go ahead and just throw this on here. What a monstrous Jolteon. What am I doing? Quick Feet Flame Orb? Alright, the one problem with switching to using Pokerus midway through is that I actually don't know how many I need left. So we started off with so we need 14 total to be completely done with HP. I just don't know how many we have left because I didn't know how many we had by the time we got Pokerus. Yeah, we're done. Alright, so the final set will be the remainder of points go into special defense. We need 172 to do that. We're getting 18 every time, so that's 10. We need to defeat 10 Nickets. That's Power Band. Alright, you guys saw how many Nickets there were in the grass before. Now's not the time to start getting shy on me. But, maybe. When the Pokemon are glowing like this, if you catch them, then they have a chance of having an egg move. I actually want to see this. Let me actually catch this Pokemon. Critical catch immediately. You still get experience points. I mean, because you get experience points, I think you still get the stat points for catching them. You gain watts, which is kind of whatever, because it's only like 140 of them. Let's look at this Nicket here. Oops. This Nicket knows Beat Up and Knock Off. And I think that Knock Off is an egg move. I don't think that you're supposed to start off with Knock Off at level 7 with the Nicket. Yeah, Nicket doesn't learn Knock Off at all, except through a TR, and also as an egg move. Actually, only as an egg move, not as a TR. So that's pretty cool. Like I had known that for a while, but this is the first time I've actually caught one just to see what you would actually have. And I think that the stats are actually better than usual. Look at that. 4 IVs from just a random wild Pokemon. That's actually really good. Compare that with like all these Dittos that I caught. Like not even a single one of them. Alright, we have one IV Ditto among all these that I caught. And if you look at all of the Isle of Armor Pokemon that I caught, you know, 1 IV, 1 IV, 1 IV, 1... Yeah, so most of them are like not very good. But this one random Nicket that I caught has 4 IVs. Which means that starting to breed them is like breeding a Nicket from here would be really good. I have plans to make Nicket at some point in time, so we'll go ahead and put that in the box. Oh, we've done 3 so far. If you want to speed this up as well, you can also turn off animations. That makes things go a lot faster. But for the stream's sake, I'll just keep it on. Oh, one other thing that we can do, by the way, because we're actually at max HP, we can actually fight Squavets now because we won't waste any points. We're at 252 already. We can't go over that. So we can defeat Squavets, and then we'll get, you know, 1 HP's point, which just gets thrown away. But then we'll get 16 special defense points because we're still equipping the power item. So if we were like particularly lazy, we could defeat either 10 Nickets, or we could defeat you know, 11 Nickets or Squavets. And because Squavets are more common to find, then, you know, we would just be able to... We might finish faster by targeting both Pokemon instead of just one. Even though it's more battles. That's another reason why I get my Ditto from Pokemon Let's Go. Is because there's a technique that you can use in that game to guarantee that the Pokemon that you get already automatically has the nature that you care about. It just costs like a little bit of polka dollars. And so you basically just like talk to this old lady, set up the trick, fly to Cerulean Cave, catch a Ditto, fly back to Celadon City, talk to the same lady. I have a video on my playlist, not on my playlist, it's on my channel. I guess I would have to cut it up and edit it down to show the trick for Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu. I think we're done. Perfect, all done. Max out all the stats. What I like to do after this is fly to Hammerlock. I mean Motostoke. Wait, which one is it? I like to fly to Hammerlock. And then from here, I walk over to this lady over here. And show her the Pokemon. And then she says, this one really gave it their all. And then she gives the effort ribbon. So I personally use that as a way for me to say at a glance, yep, I'm done with this Pokemon. All trained up. So I guess since I'm done, we can do battles and stuff like that. But before I do that, I guess I should address I like pies conundrum. So what happens when you don't have a box full of Dittos that have the perfect natures for what you want to breed? How do you actually get the Pokemon that you want? So now you're going to have to learn about egg groups. So every Pokemon has an egg group, although some Pokemon have an egg group just called cannot breed. And so you're going to want to pair your Pokemon with such Pokemon. So for example, you wanted Girder to have the right nature. So you go to Cerebi.net as always. You go to Timber and you look up his egg group. He's in the human-like category. So that means that other Pokemon in the human-like egg group will be able to breed with your... So another issue is that you're going to have a female Girder. This is one of the reasons why Ditto is so great. Because 3/4 of all Girders are going to be male. And only 25% of them are going to be female. Which means that you might be stuck with the Girder that you have for now. Unless you can get a Ditto with the right nature. So you would breed with your Ditto. So you actually have a Ditto. So you have a Ditto, you're going to basically have to breed with your Ditto if you have a male right now, until you end up with a female. And then you're going to want to find a male human-like egg Pokemon. So like if you have a Kadabra, or Machop, Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, all these other things like that, using the nature that you care about. So this one is plus attack minus speed. Let's say I didn't actually have that yet. Or you can't see my screen right now, but I have a plus attack minus speed Conkeldurr, which is a brave nature. So you're going to go to your box and you're going to say, well, let me search for the nature that I want, which is brave. And then you search. And then you say to yourself, alright, which one of these are human-like? Is Chansey human-like? I don't think Chansey is human-like. Chansey is not. How about Scyther is not? I'm pretty sure I don't even need to look that up. Snorlax is not. Aegislash is not. Meltan is not. Neither is Rookidee. Ah, there you go. I have a male Timber. Actually, I should have done that as well. So I need to make sure that it's also the right gender. So like male. So this is the Pokemon that I would use to breed with my female girder or Timber that I got from my Ditto in order to get the right nature. What other things do I have with that? Lots of other Timbers. Obviously the easiest thing for you would be to just, trade. Because here I have a 4 IV Timber with, all the stuff. Also, if it's your first Pokemon that you're building for competitive, it doesn't have to be perfect. My first competitive Pokemon was the Snorlax here. And he served me well, but he's definitely lacking in a lot of different ways. Plus defense nature, max special defense, max HP. And let me tell you why this Pokemon is so bad. Heavy Slam, as well as the move. Bold? What is bold nature? I actually don't ever know what any of these things are. Bold nature is plus defense minus attack. You wouldn't want that for Conkeldurr because Conkeldurr is an attacker. Like, you might want to go with things that lower special attack, like maybe plus defense minus special attack, or maybe like Adamant for plus attack minus special attack. I like Brave because Conkeldurr is already so slow that it's not worth saving his speed stat, and if someone wants to use Trick Room on me, then suddenly my Conkeldurr might actually be slower than their Pokemon. But the Ditto right now for you is only going to be used in order to get a female Timber. And then you can get a female Timber. You find your, Brave or Adamant. I would suggest either Brave or Adamant for Conkeldurr, personally. But you can do that for yourself. In fact, I will actually show you through Showdown how to think about what you should actually make for some of these Pokemon. Okay, so now I'm ready to show you guys. So here's my Pokemon Showdown. I have these two Snorlaxes next to each other. Let me actually adjust the level here so that they're actually at the same level and you can see the difference between the two. Alright, so this is the original Snorlax that I came up with. It had Leftovers, Curse, Rest, Body Slam, Heavy Slam. This Pokemon got me really far. Like at the beginning of my competitive journey when I was, learning about Pokemon and figuring out how to battle and things like that, I've won so many games with Snorlax carrying me. Mostly against people that don't know anything about competitive. So my Snorlax carried me a lot fighting against casual Pokemon people because mine was actually built at all. So let's take a look at its stats. 524 HP, 256 attack, 183 defense, 319 special defense, 86 speed. Pretty good, Not too bad. Rest. So the concept here is you send in your Snorlax. It's a special wall that can't take damage from special attacks. You use Curse to build up your defense, which raises your attack and your defense and lowers your speed by 1 level. And then you can use Heavy Slam because you're so heavy. You destroy fairy type Pokemon. You use Body Slam because it's your normal type move. It does 50% more damage because you're a normal type Pokemon using a normal type move. It's called the same type attack bonus, same type attack bonus, or a stab. The Heavy Slam is just because why not? The problems with this build. So first off, I gave it a plus defense nature. So plus defense nature means that I get a 10% bonus to my base stat points from this. 10% of 65 is 6. I'm wasting my potential by getting 6 bonus points into defense for a total of 12 bonus points by the time I'm done at level 100. And only 6 points when I'm at level 50 because that's what competitive battles are in. Issue number 2. Rest with no Chesto Berry. Basically what ends up happening here is I use Curse once. They switch out to their physical attacker. They attack me. They take off like almost half my HP. I use Curse again. Then the next turn they attack me. I use Rest. And then they're doing like maybe a third of my HP. So now I've used Rest and I'm at full HP. But now they get a free attack. So they attack me once, that's 1/3 of my damage. They attack me again, that's 1/3 of my damage. They attack me another time, that's another 1/3, I'm dead. No good. So the third thing that's wrong with this build is Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam does not work at all against Dynamax Pokemon. If you try to use Heavy Slam against a Dynamax Pokemon, it'll say Snorlax shook his head, you couldn't seem to use the move or whatever. This is my new Snorlax that I'm working towards. I replaced Heavy Slam with Iron Head, and then I changed the nature and then moved around the abilities. Moved around the effort points. Iron Head can be used against Pokemon that are Dynamaxed, no problem, which is good. And let's take a look at the stats here. 195 defense. That's higher than it was on the other Snorlax. 132 special defense. That's also higher than it was on the other Snorlax. Like, the other Snorlax was 319. This one's 320. The other Snorlax was 183. This one's 195. The reason for that, I gave it a plus special defense nature. Plus, so 10% of 110 is 11. That's like twice the amount of bonus stats as going plus defense. So also what I did, I replaced the leftovers with Chesto Berry. So now when I use Rest, so the Pokemon comes in, I throw in my Snorlax against a special attacker. They're not going to do any damage to me. I use Curse, they switch out to their physical attacker. They attack me, I use Curse again. Now they attack me, I use Rest, go to full HP, Chesto Berry, wake up. And now I'm at full HP with 2 curses up already. I can use a 3rd curse to make myself unkillable. And maybe even a 4th curse. And then I can use Rest and it's fine if I get hit twice and don't wake up. No problem. So everything about the Snorlax is better than my previous Snorlax. I could even Dynamax and then use my Gigantamax move, which gives me back my berry. And then use Rest again if I really wanted to. The G-Max move is really for the for this guy more so, though. It's more for the Appleton, so that I can get my Key Berry back and get +4 defense instead of +2 defense. But anyway, that's enough of that. So let's now talk about Conkeldurr. I have a Conkeldurr. I actually have a couple of Conkeldurr builds within this within Showdown. But let's make one from scratch, though. So off the bat, you see that his base stats are high in HP, high in attack, okay defense, bad everything else. You could patch up the special defense with an assault vest. That's what I tried to do. I don't think it works, but I tried it. You know, whatever. So like a common Encoder would be like max attack, and then either decide whether you want to do max defense or if you want to do like max HP. I haven't really done the numbers. Like, there are people that are way better than this at me than I am. That you can use like the Pokemon calculator, and they'll decide whether it's better to go into like max HP versus max defense. And then they like make their builds so they can do things like, well, if I take Stealth Rock's damage and I'm fighting against like, you know, a bulk up Zeraora that uses Plasma Fist, then I'll live it and use Drain Punch if I have this particular build. Like, that's way too complicated for me. I'm still at my basics right now. So, yeah, this is a pretty good set here. And then you decide whether to go plus attack, and then usually would either go like minus speed or minus special attack. So that would be either adamant or brave. And then you could put the other 4 points anywhere, like maybe here, something like that. Every 4 points, by the way, gives you 1 extra stat point. Don't do anything that's not a multiple of 4. Alright, so that's pretty much everything that I have to say about competitive team building. What time are we at? 2 hours? I could probably edit things down to make an actual informative video. That would probably take a little bit less than that. Probably I could get it down into 30 minutes. Yeah, so I spent the first 2 hours like going slowly over Pokemon breeding and like making competitive Pokemon, and I plan on cutting it up into an actual video for upload. Because even today, actually, one of my most watched videos is my first 3-hour stream where I basically watch the how to build competitive Pokemon and then like try to do it myself. But I do it all wrong, basically. And I explained today why the Snorlax that I built months ago is bad, and how it could be better, and how I made a better Snorlax. So I'll like probably have to link to this new video from that old video, because a lot of people are watching that and they're going to get some misinformation from it. And now you should have an egg with the nature that you need. And then once you hatch that egg, you'll have the timber with the right nature. You give the Everstone to that timber, and then the rest of it is just breeding to get the right IVs. Since you don't have a 6 IV Ditto, it's going to be kind of difficult for you to get a good one. But if you can just try to get kind of lucky, and then even if you got like 3 IVs, like if you got good attack and HP, I would probably say just go with that, and just like accept that your Pokemon just isn't going to be good until you have the resources to make a better one. Now, that being said, if you have a Pokemon that has the right nature, you can use bottle caps once they're level 100. Do I have any? Your Pokemon, oh, they're in the treasures box. So you can use this bottle cap to take a Pokemon's base stat. Let me see where this is. I know that I said that I was going to like not explain a bunch of stuff, but here's more stuff. You go to the Battle Tower, you talk to this guy here, and he takes a level 100 Pokemon, and then you can, like, for example, this Pokemon here has best in everything except for defense, which is only fantastic. I could give this Zeraora a bottle cap, and it will have best defense as well, even though it'll say hyper trained actually. And then it'll be as though I bred a perfect Zeraora myself, even though it's not perfect. Same with this Mewtwo. I could give it best special attack instead of pretty good, and it would just be a better Mewtwo. If you had a gold bottle cap, then you can do all 6 stats at once. Like for this Leafeon, but you wouldn't do it for this Leafeon because gold bottle caps are hard to come by. I don't really breed Pokemon that would actually need a... Well, for example, the Cinderace. This is my starter Pokemon. Like, I started the game with this, went through the whole game with it. But it's bad in almost every way. I could use a gold bottle cap, and I could actually increase all of its stats. You actually want to use a gold bottle cap when there are... So this Pokemon has 5 stats that it needs to increase. So if I were to use 5 bottle caps, that would be a waste, because I can use the Cramomatic through the Isle of Armor to use 3 bottle caps and some random item to create a gold bottle cap. So then instead of using 5 to make all 5 of my stats going up, I could use 3 to create a gold bottle cap, and then use that gold bottle cap to open up the hidden potential and have all hyper trained for the Cinderace. So yeah. I never used that machine. You can use it for infinite money, and you can use it to more efficiently use your bottle caps. But otherwise, there's not really a reason to use it. Like, if you've already beaten the game and you have most of the Pokemon that you need, you can talk to this person here, and you can buy cherry berries for 80. And you see I have like 959 of them. And then you go into the Cramomatic, you put 4 of them into the machine. It'll always come out with Heat Crash. And then you can sell them. Well, you can't sell them here. But you can go to a place where you can sell items. And then you can sell all the Heat Crashes that you got from all the cherry berries that you got. And you'll make a profit, guaranteed every time. But like, money is so easy to come by. You just do raid battles and then sell all the pearls and stuff that you get. Money just lying around on the floor. You can just beat the Elite Four over and over again. You don't really need the money. And I don't really need the gold bottle caps because I usually breed my Pokemon to be good enough as they are. So I also don't really need it either. But it's good information to know. Like, maybe there's someone out there that doesn't have, you know, unlimited money. Especially for me as a streamer, I can just like make a stream that's called Raid Battles, and then I can just like have people join, and like it'll always queue up immediately. The room always fills up immediately. Oh, money, that's true. Money can be used to bypass EV training because you can buy the vitamins. Actually, that I didn't go over that at all when I was talking about building competitive Pokemon, because I actually don't like using vitamins because they're always multiples of 10, and you almost never build a Pokemon that has a multiple of 10. There are also a couple of other things when it comes to training your Pokemon, EV training your Pokemon, that I didn't talk about. I briefly mentioned Pokejobs, and I explained all the Pokejob stuff, like how many points you get per hour, how long you can put in your Pokemon for, and things like that. But I didn't talk about the time skip exploit that makes you able to complete any Pokejob immediately. And that's mostly because I don't want to actually... I've never actually done it before. I know how to do it, and it would be really easy for me to do it. I don't particularly want to do it, though, because it's an exploit. So you won't actually see it from me. But basically, you can set up a thing where you put your Pokemon in the job for a whole day, and then you go to a Pokemon den. You start searching locally for, not using the online, please don't use online, it floods the Wycom with dead links. So you locally search for a for partners to go with, you go press home, go into your system settings, you change your clock by 1 day, you back out of the den search, and now it's a day later, and then you go into the Poke Jobs and they are ready for you to come out. So in words, that's how you would do it. And if you get into a rhythm, you can basically completely EV train your Pokemon in like 5 minutes. It would take actually less than that. It would take more like... Most of the time would be spent going to a den. Wait a minute, what am I trying to do breeding these Timber again? Alright, so... Oh, you might not have access to that. So... When you look at your stats for level 1 Pokemon, it should look like this. If you see in the bottom right corner the Judge ability, you can press plus, and then you'll see their potential. So you want a Pokemon with good potential. So at best you want, you know, best in all the stats that you care about. So for Conkeldurr, that would be HP, attack, and defense. And it's okay if you don't have best stats in the stats you don't care about, like special attack and speed. For the Snorlax, I don't care about speed, so it's fine that it's decent. I got lucky and got this Tangela special attack. I don't have any special attacks on my Eevee. It's fine for this to be decent instead of best. So you're trying to breed until you get good enough potential for your Pokemon, because you don't have a 6 IV Ditto or anything like that. You're probably not going to be able to get the best Conkeldurr that you can get. You might have to deal with having like a Pokemon that looks like this. That's like decent in the things that you want, or very good or fantastic in the things that you want, instead of something like this. Or actually something more like this. This is something that I bred myself, and this is a Pokemon that I bred, but like I only bred until I got the right nature, and didn't breed until get the right IVs. This was before I had a 6 IV Ditto, and like before I like looked into that sort of stuff. If you're not seeing Judge, that means you don't have access to that feature yet. And the way that you get access to that feature, let me first move these Pokemon into the right box. You're going to have to battle for those. You're going to have to go to Wyndon's Battle Tower. And you're going to want to do either single battle or double battles. Since you're just learning competitive, I would say that you would go to the Battle Tower and do singles. Maybe rent a team if yours aren't very good. You could probably also find a rental team online pretty easily, like from a streamer or like a popular person. And then beat Leon again. Like you already beat him at the champion. He's a little stronger when you fight him in the Battle Tower. And it's 3-on-3 instead of 6-on-5. And once you beat him in the Battle Tower, then you get access to the Judge feature. And then you can determine your Pokemon's potential. Again, you could also just trade with me as well. Like, I think I have exactly the thing that you're looking for. Granted, it's good for you to figure it out yourself, because like I said, the Snorlax that I built was suboptimal, but at least I learned the things from doing it. That's terrible. Nope. Oops. And because I learned it, that means that now every time I do it, it's a little faster than the last time. So it's like, it might benefit you to just do it badly a couple of times. I guess at some point in time I should probably get footage of me using vitamins instead of fighting Pokemon for this. Because like you can just do it in a couple presses of a button instead of finding and fighting 28 Pokemon. Like I said before, multiples of 10 are hard to come by. Like, you don't usually build for that. There aren't even that many good ones, because you really have to have multiples of 40 for stat distribution in order for that to be worth it. Otherwise you're wasting EVs here and there. But it's fine for a Pokemon like this. Like, if you're just trying to do max HP, max defense, you know, just use up all 26 vitamins. Yeah, that would be a lot better. I was almost thinking about talking about how it would be a waste to use 26 vitamins instead of using 25, because you get 10 at a time. 252 is the max. So that 26th vitamin, you'd be wasting 8 of its points. But I figured that if you like build a lot of Pokemon and you're already the type of person to just like buy vitamins and use them all, feathers would also be the better option as well. Then I just imagine that you just basically only spend your money on vitamins. I spend most of my money basically breeding the Pokemon to begin with, because like you have to keep on, every time you replace the Pokemon it's like 500, and sometimes if you're really unlucky, like you only have males of a Pokemon and you need to have a female so that you can get an egg move, so that you can then get the right nature, so you can then, you know, get the right IVs. Like, it can take a lot of back and forth swapping things out. It used to cap at 255 actually. Starting in Sword and Shield, it actually caps at 252. And I'm glad for that, because those extra 3, like if you were to have like, you know, if you were trying to do like max attack, max defense, and then put the remaining 4 into speed, then like if you were to do max attack using vitamins and then max speed, or max whatever I said using vitamins, and you actually use 26, then you would actually not be able to use any points left in the into the speed. You would actually only have 1 left, and then you would just not be able to actually get a stat point for it. And so by wasted, you just mean part of the vitamins wasted? Yeah, that's what I meant by it. Like, you're not getting your full money's worth after buying the vitamin, but I feel like, you know, there's so many ways to make lots of money really quickly in this game that... Oh, they got away. I don't know what this means. I don't play Pokemon. Do you play, like, Pokemon at all, or do you mean that you don't play a competitive Pokemon? Because this whole stream has basically been dedicated to teaching from beginning to end how to make a Pokemon competitive. Well, I mean, I didn't talk about like movesets, like how to choose what moves are good, and like any sort of battle content. But, you know, that stuff, that's like the easy stuff. Technically, that is actually the easy part in terms of like just learning, because all you have to do is just play. If you play more, then you'll basically figure out what's good, and someone can just tell you, oh yeah, these moves are good, these moves are bad. But even if they tell you like, oh, here's the stat distribution that you actually want to have for this particular Pokemon, and you want these natures, even knowing that those things are good, you have to actually know how to do it. So I would say that this is the important stuff. One more after this. I'm actually going to do what's called a pro gamer move here. We're actually not going to fight one more Nickit. What we're going to do instead is we're going to keep the special defense bracer on, And we're going to fight four. We're going to fight two, actually. We're going to fight two Zigzagoon or Rookadies. Because we have Poke Rest, so fighting one Rookadee gives us 2 points. Fighting two gives us 4 points, which is enough. And in the meantime, we've gotten 32... what's it called? We've gotten 32 special defense points, which is actually 64 because we have Poke Rest. Wait, no, it's actually 32 because we've actually gotten 16 and it doubled to 32. So now instead of fighting one more Nickit and then two more Rookadies, we finished it in just 2. If I were like really trying, I could probably come up with a formula to actually optimize this thing or these things. But now we're actually done with Vaporeon. Oops. They're at max stats, but they're actually not max EV'd yet because the maximum number of total points that you can have is 510. And right now we're at 510 is the total number of points that actually matter. But there's an extra 2 points that don't matter, that you can't actually use to increase any stat. So we're going to fight one more Rookadee just so we can get the effort badge at the end. Because I like having the effort badge. We got the DLC coming out in 2 weeks. So we gotta get ready. Or not that we gotta get ready, we have to... I want to finish the team that I built for the Isle of Armor before we do the Crown Tundra. Subscribe for more Pokemon and Smash content from me, and I'll see you next time.